Are we headed towards another COVID shutdown? It looks like we're heading toward another COVID sports shutdown. On Monday and Tuesday, the NFL reported 65 cases, the worst two-day outbreak report since the pandemic started. Not the numbers you want to hear. The Browns themselves have 15 plus players on the COVID list, including Baker Mayfield. OBJ, Jalen Ramsey are on it for the Rams. There's a lot of star players in the NFL on the COVID list. There's a lot of star players in the NBA. Over 90 players in the NFL are in the COVID protocol list. In the NBA, the Bulls had to reschedule 2 games on Tuesday and 1 tomorrow on Thursday versus the Pistons and the Raptors because they have like 10 players on the COVID list. It was funny. I saw Vucevic tweet out before the game against the Pistons if they wanted to play 3v3s because both rosters were just decimated by COVID and they couldn't play. And it's a little chuckle of Vucevic being a little funny. Should we just run a 3v3? And it's crazy. And there's outbreaks in the Premier League too. The Premier League reported 42 cases of COVID in 1 week, another record for the most cases reported in the Premier League since the pandemic started. We had an outbreak in Tottenham too, and they had to reschedule a game. So it's like there's all the signs are there, man. You can't ignore the signs. I've said that before. The signs are there. You can't ignore the signs. And it's just, are we heading towards another shutdown of the leagues? Hopefully not, especially right now when we're heading towards the playoffs in the NFL. But you got to take into consideration public health. Public health is always, it should be the number one priority. So if it starts getting even more out of control, you might have to shut it down. Like you might start hearing about the local governments, the local communities saying like, oh, what are we doing here? How are we having people packing these stadiums, going to these games? How are we having players playing against each other, going out into the communities, spreading it? Like it's good. It's bad PR for the league if they keep going. If this gets worse and they keep going, obviously right now, they can still wiggle their way through it. NFL and NBA are talking about new COVID protocols as we speak to, probably make it a little stricter. Hope that they could spread the spread. They could stop the spread of COVID. But Omicron has been detected in the NBA, so hopefully for our sake, it is not as lethal and scary as they're making Omicron to be. But all I'm saying is brace yourself. If you want to catch a game, go soon. Like we might not have games in January or February. Like there's no way to know how this is going, especially if you're in California, very progressive. We're probably going to be one of the first ones to, shut it down, especially I live in SF, so I'm talking the Warriors. Like once this hits the fan, they're probably going to get rid of fans. The Raptors already knocked down their max capacity to 50. So if you're in Toronto and you're trying to see the Raptors, go soon before they knock it down to 0. But it's just scary times. Obviously, you could have kind of predicted this going into the winter, where it gets colder and I guess flu and COVID spread faster. So we'll see how the leagues respond to this. We'll see if we're able to power through or if there has to be some sort of pause or something. But it looks like we're heading towards another sports shutdown. It's sad to say, obviously for me who loves sports, who has a sports podcast, but I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to speak it into existence. But I'm just saying it doesn't look good, man. Like if we're having 65 cases reported on Monday and Tuesday, who's to say we don't get 90 next week? Who's to say we don't hit 100? And if you're seeing those numbers, if you're hitting triple digits in a 2-day span, like there's gonna be a lot of pressure. There's gonna be a lot of pressure to shut this whole thing down. So, if you guys watch the Pat McAfee show, there's been a lot of times when they've said we beat COVID, but. And I've thought that too. I'm like, okay, we're getting through it. Look at these numbers; they're going all the way down. But man, COVID is resilient. I think if anything, these numbers should just raise our awareness and just not get too comfortable, not get complacent. Wash your hands, wear your mask, all that good stuff. If not, if not for the evidence that we've seen for the last 2 years, I know all of us love sports, man. Let's try to slow this thing down so we could have our sports. I love sports, man. Hopefully it doesn't shut down. And everyone that's listening, if you're not listening, take care of yourself. Try to stay away from people if you can. And if not, if you want to go see a game, I'm just saying this would be a good time to go. I mean, not if you're trying to catch it. If you're trying to be safe and not catch it, obviously stay home. But if you're one of those people that are like, okay, like I haven't seen a game in the last 2 years, I was thinking about going maybe in March or May or something, it might be time to get in there before it gets shut down, because it looks like it might get shut down.